Just say when.
Say when.
Give me more.
Come.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
You looking forward to it or not?
Kyle, this was your pick, aye?
Yeah, so it's a weird movie for me to pick, I think.
It is, aye. I was going to say.
But it's one of those movies that I remember seeing a long time ago, and
it's etched in your mind.
Aye. There's like so many parts of this that are like vivid fucking nightmares that I have. But the movie we are talking about, welcome into another episode of Morons Reviewing Movies. This week we are talking about Requiem for a Dream. A movie that came out in 2000, and drug-induced utopias of 4 Coney Island people are shattered when their addictions run deep. I thought this one would make for a good discussion. I feel like it's a movie you kind of have to see, because a lot of people I've spoken to about this movie all remember it quite vividly on the way it's filmed as well. I think it's filmed excellent. The way it's shot, the way you get the close-ups of their face and that kind of fisheye lens. The storyline to it is super cool for me. Like, there's so many different aspects of addiction where you just see them capitulate all the way through the movie. The acting in it is quite good, and I'm not the biggest Jared Leto fan, but I quite enjoy him in this, even though I find him really difficult to look at, because I don't know if he's really, really handsome or really, really ugly. I can't quite work that out with him.
He's definitely handsome, but he's annoying as fuck.
I've never liked him. I don't know.
No,
I
hate him.
It just seems like he's just so up his own arse. I know he's an actor, so that comes with the SAG card, but
I'd imagine his skin's actually slimy. Like you touch and he's got a slimy layer to him. Like a snail.
Fair enough. But the acting for the movie was really good. The woman that plays his mum, Ellen.
She's the best person in it, by the way.
Yeah, amazing.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what? It's funny watching.
Like, I mean, that's quite a fucking difficult part to play. You know what I mean? You have to really give yourself to that, and it's like, Jesus Christ, she fucking steals it. Like, she's absolutely.
This is the part that I think it makes this movie amazing, though, because you watch. She obviously knows her son suffers from addiction. She goes through the whole scenario where he steals the TV all the time. That she chains it to the radiator because she knows it's going at some point. But she loves her son. She's still going to support him. She's going to go get it back and pay the bills. And then she's got that addictive nature as well with the TV, and she's so sucked in with the thought of being on TV that it just takes over her whole life. But it's a big thing for all those mums locally. Like, it actually gives her a pecking order on where she sits outside in the street waiting for people going by. But she becomes obsessed with it. And it jumps into all the different fads that you see in the world still today about dieting fads, like how to get skinny within a certain time, and it become obsessive about her looks. And it's like, she just kind of self-implodes throughout it constantly, but it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse as it goes.
I actually genuinely wish this film was just a film about her. And that was just the film. I don't think you needed all 4 stories in this. Also, I'm taking us a wee bit off topic early on.
The thing is, it's not really 4 stories, is it? It's her story, the mum, and then the relationship with Jared Leto and Jennifer Connelly, is that right?
Aye.
And then Marlon Wayans.
Yeah.
That's kind of one story intertwined. Like, so.
Aye.
I know it's 4 stories. It's not really.
I suppose I get what you mean, but like, I feel like it's presented more as Jared Leto and Jennifer Connelly's story, and the mum.
Jared Leto has a story with kind of him and Marlon Wayans.
his mum's story is the bit part in this whole thing, essentially, when it should be the other way about it.
It should be the other way about. I
Yeah.
would quite like a main theme that was more than about. It felt like a Twilight Zone episode or something. Her bit, because you got the bits where she's fucking going mental and she's having the delusions and fucking hallucinations for that. Aye,
Chinks the front attack on that.
Aye, it's fucking brilliant. Like her stuff's really good.
Aye,
and then I just felt a wee bit with this film when it went to anyone else. I wasn't all that fussed. I was just waiting for it to get back to her bit again. But no, I mean, the other bits were still interesting. Jennifer Connelly's character sort of getting further and further and further into weird sex stuff that she was getting paid for. That by the end, there was just like the big group of men all paying money. And
that was fucking horrible.
It's grim. And that, I think
that was like the worst. Like
that was the darkest.
I know, but it wasn't much of a twist because they gave, obviously, they kind of mentioned it earlier that this guy was like a big supplier, but he was only interested in pussy. And it's like, you know where that's going. I actually put it in my notes. Jared Leto was going to pimp her out. I had that fucking written, and then it happened, basically. But I liked the fact that she ended up with the drugs and he ended up like with one arm, and like he's not actually going to reap the benefits yet.
Aye.
I liked that element of it.
How gruesome was that as well with the arm? That was horrendous. I hated that.
That was disgusting.
So I need some light shed on that. What the fuck was that? Was it just like, I thought initially because it was like a small, like, I thought he had HIV.
No, it's a common thing that happens with heroin addicts. That see if you're basically the opening where you shoot up all the time. If you use the same hole all the time, it can get like this horrible infection, and then if you're injecting back into the same bit, basically it's like black. It's like not in your skin away.
Why would
gangrene?
Why would you keep using the same?
I thought it was gangrene.
Why would you do that?
Because it's I don't think it's that easy to find a way in after a while. Like, see if you're a total heavy addict. That's why folk end up like doing between their toes and all that sort of shit.
I thought that was to hide it.
No, it's because you've done it. All your veins collapse and all that, and you can't fucking get a good.
I thought they did it there, like, because Chrissy does it in Sopranos. He's doing it in between his toes because he doesn't want anybody to know he's a junkie. And I've heard about it. Like sports.
But I think a lot of the time they do it because it's easiest. They run out of veins and all that. But I think that's quite a common thing, the infected fucking puncture wound. I don't know why I was going to say this, but I feel like I was going to say you'd know Hunter. But would you know Hunter?
Well, not about from an infected puncture wound, but when I was bedbound with my broken leg a couple of years ago, I was on blood thinners because I couldn't move about, and I got that same story when I injected myself to move it about from day to day, just so that you then end up getting fucking gangrene. That was trying to know what the possible side effects would have been if I wasn't injected in different bits of my body.
There you go. I knew you would have some sort of information, Hunter. I don't know why.
I thought you were saying that he had information on heroin.
The big H.
He's Big Tim.
Missed that.
What? Oh, you just said something on it cut out.
Big Tim. He was talking about Big Tim.
Oh.
I think you're Big Tim. Sorry, I think they had a little internet problem there. I'll try and cut something. I'll cut Sean telling us straight in the middle story there, so there's no gap in the in the movie. But I think just to go back into the whole drug side of it. So essentially, the mum gets given speed, doesn't she, as the drug to help her lose weight, and obviously it gains her addiction. For me, it's such an interesting story, that part, because, like I mentioned earlier, that whole diet culture is still prevalent today in 2023. Is it how much weight can you lose and how quick can you do it and how extreme does it go? And it's actually quite difficult to watch her go from being this kind of proud mum to an extent to just capitulating right the way through the movie, and it becomes quite horrible to watch.
I think a lot of that was what I took away from it. There was a lot of it that was really difficult to watch. I think I said to the guys at the weekend, I was like that with like a blanket, like covering up my eyes, like towards the end, because it was just like, it was so full on, and it was obviously you had like the orgy scene, you had the mall like getting like electroshock therapy, and it's like then him with the one airman, that I was like, oh my fucking god, like it was fucking hard gone, like
That's what I find as well, in terms of one of the things I find difficult with the film was because it was just constant. It was just actually, some of it was just it was just constant toughness to watch instead of having like a wee break or anything that's a wee bit light-hearted. I know obviously some films can't do that, but obviously I usually watch films for enjoyment. Like, I don't watch them because I want to be looking at something that's like a tough story to watch unfolding kind of thing. I'm more wanting to be entertained, so that's what I struggled with the most. And I agree with that Daniel was saying, and Dubs, I think it was saying about how it would have been better if it was just concentrated on the mum instead of focusing on our son and his girlfriend and all that kind of stuff, or even if it just focused on them more. Because I don't think I felt a bit different to you though. I didn't think it was sort of more that she was a backstory. I thought it was more half and half when I was watching, but I definitely much preferred when the mum was on the screen. And another thing that I noticed as well was that I didn't know the guy's name, but the guy that plays Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore, he was on it as a
I knew you would notice that.
Game show host.
He just came out of there. But then also, like, see his character in that, although it's completely different, obviously, what he's doing. But because obviously, like, the facial expressions that he gives, and obviously, like, maybe some of the actions he does, they are quite similar to what he's like in Happy Gilmore in terms of like winding folk up and all that kind of stuff, and obviously given all the bravado, etc. So that was probably the light-hearted part for me, seeing him, because obviously I've seen him in something else and I wasn't expecting it because I've never read the film before either. So
what was his wee catchphrase again that he kept saying over and over again? It was part of the game show thing. I can't remember what it was. It was something to do with winning. It was fucking annoying the life out of me though. I can't remember what it was.
That was the point though. It was like commentary on sort of game shows and shite telly and.
I mean, there's a bit like a scene in Trainspotting. Like,
and I was going to say this already. H. I was going to say that as well. There's a bit where it's like Dale Winton or son.
Aye.
It's like they're talking about AIDS, eh?
Aye.
And it's like they're imagining that they're on telly and they're answering questions about AIDS. I really thought this reminded me of Trainspotting a lot. Like,
aye,
a lot of it. There's a lot of kind of like stuff that people are like hallucinating and stuff, and it's like it's not real, and it's hard to watch, and then kind of the way it's filmed in that is kind of like a Tarantino or a Guy Ritchie movie as well. Like, it was really fast paced and quick cuts and sharp, aye, and very repetitive. Like, you kept seeing the same stuff, like her pressing the remote and like just weird thing. That's the thing. For as hard as it was to watch, artistically, I think it was very like unique and interesting. I probably would watch it again.
Aye, same.
I came away to watch because I was like, it's like a car accident or something like that. You're like, I have to watch it again. I would have to look again just to see what's happening.
That's a good way of putting it. I can't wait for it. Oh, sorry, Sean. On you go.
No, on you go. On you go.
I was going to say, I came away from it the same thing, thinking like, I was quite intrigued to watch it again. I thought a lot it was really clever. I'm glad you mentioned, Dubs, about the things repeating themselves, like her pushing the button on the TV remote. I think it was like to visually depict what addiction's like. You're just sort of doing the same shit over and over again, but you can't stop yourself from doing it. And
you remember the bit where, like, obviously she's having like she's having a real trouble like avoiding eating like bad foods and stuff like that. So you see her at the breakfast table, and it's like, so she'll have like I don't know, I can't remember exactly what she has, but she has a bit of toast, and there's just a sound effect, and then the next bit the toast's gone, and then she'll go like slurp, and then the coffee's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't actually see her eating it. I thought that was really clever.
Aye, like she's not even aware that it's like putting you inside.
She's so mundane, and she's getting no enjoyment out of it, and it's like, go for a fucking run or something like that. Feel good, and you'll lose weight. You know what I mean? Then take a tablet and eat fucking boring food.
Speed and boring food. Sean, what was your thoughts, mate? Had you seen this movie before?
No, definitely not. A lot of what kind of Bunzy said is kind of my thoughts on it. Well, first of all, kind of films in general, I'm the same as Bunzy. Like, I watched them for like interesting characters, like an interesting story. With this, like, I've kind of described films like this in the past. Like, I call these kind of like trippy films. where like see all the kind of like whenever they were like fucking injecting or she was taking a pill and it was doing all the close-ups of like the eyes and the fucking pupils widening and stuff. I really didn't like all of that stuff. This for me, like, I liked what was her name, Sarah. The mum's name was Sarah, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her bits, but I had no interest in any else, like any other part. I felt like if it was just her and it was like a short film to basically show how addiction can take somebody and the places that it can take you and what it can do to your body and your mind and stuff like that. Like I would imagine there'll be people who really love this film will say, oh, it's really powerful. It's such a great kind of take on what drugs can do to you, and not only do to you but your family and all of this kind of stuff. Like you need to watch it. It's so powerful. Like that, and I remember we watched Schindler's List, and we both kind of not both. We all kind of said the same thing. Oh, it's a film that you need to see, but it wasn't enjoyable. Like none of Schindler's List is enjoyable. It's a fucking horrific film to watch, and I put this in the same kind of bracket in terms of like, I would rather just enjoy a film for a good story and good characters rather than.
You just don't feel you didn't feel like there's any payoff, really.
No, like there's no payoff for this.
And Schindler's List,
knew the way it was going.
The whole point of that is that at the end he kind of does like rescue.
Mm-hmm.
Aye, but like
as many Jews.
That was more of an example of like that's not a fucking. Aye, but like that's not an enjoyable film, and people will tell you to watch that because it's one that you need to see because it was a massive event in history. But it's a horrible film to watch. There's no, I didn't enjoy Schindler's List at all.
Joy in it, but
at
the end, obviously, it does.
Obviously, like this and Schindler's List is fucking total fucking pale opposites, like complete different ends of the scale. But just in terms of, I didn't get any enjoyment for this at all.
I think really the only payoff in this movie is the fact that it is the girl that ends up with like the drugs at the end, and obviously what she had to go through was fucking horrible and stuff. But at the end of the day, she is kind of like all right. You know what I mean? Like Marlon Wayans is in jail. What do you call him? Jared Leto's only got one arm, and but she seems to be all right, apart from the fact that she's just been rogered with a double-ended.
Oh, that was fucking. Oh my god, man!
I'm guessing that wasn't her.
No, there was a body double. You're correct. She did the go ask to ask.
Was that in your trivia?
Aye.
Jesus.
You've been searching that one weeks before.
I didn't even think that would be put in the trivia. I thought that would be so obvious.
See the bit as well where the mum goes to like TV studios and she's basically saying like, "Where am I going?" I found that quite like that was really really sad because I would say that was probably the scene.
When somebody find out what her name is actually, because it's really annoying me.
Ellen Burstyn, I think it was.
Burstyn, that's it. I keep saying the wifey, them all and that, and it's.
I think it's because we've not really watched her in any movies before this.
I've never seen her in my life.
She was incredible.
She was brilliant.
It was by far the best character in the film, and it is sad how addiction.
She's just like at times she's unhinged, even before she's kind of really slit him into the drug kind of stupor. She's like just the way when she's like Jared Leto can tell that she's on something. You know what I mean? Because he's been ruined so much, and he has one himself. Like he knows right away that she's on something, just the way she's like flying about the room and all that.
Because he mentions it to her, and she's sort of saying, "How do you know all that? How do you know all this stuff about?"
You're not a doctor. How does a free case of beer sound from the Citizen Kane of craft beer subscriptions? There's nothing better than enjoying a great movie with a great beer, and our pals at Beer 52 are offering you a free case of beer to do just that. Simply go to www.beer52.com/morons. That's beer52.com/MORONS. And all you have to do is cover the meagre postage of £5.95 to claim your free case of 8 unique craft beers. Beer 52 is the biggest beer club in the world. Each month their beer experts carefully curate a case of incredible beers from a different part of the world for their members to enjoy. This week I had the pleasure of enjoying the beers that came from Chile. a section of beers that I would never have picked if I'd seen them in any supermarket. So I was very pleased to try these, and I was very impressed with the choices that I did get, and I'll certainly be purchasing more of these beers. If you would like to try out the beers, like I say, join the link on beer52.com/morons and enjoy. Us morons bid you farewell.
I mean, just before we move on, I wanted to mention something Sean said that like it does lack any sort of joy, and somebody mentioned Trainspotting earlier on that it's quite similar to Trainspotting. I think what maybe puts Trainspotting a whole level above this is that it does have those little moments of like brevity and like comedy that
humour.
Like,
There's no really any humour in this movie. Like
this doesn't have any. I think you need that like to make it a clever enough film, because see the darkest moments and that's when you find the funny things happen. Do you know what I mean? I feel like this misses the boat on that point, and I hadn't really thought about it until you guys mentioned
there really
it.
isn't any comic relief whatsoever. Like,
nah.
I think since I started recording with yous, this is the least amount of notes I've taken in a movie, because it just kind of felt like it was the same stuff happening. It was the same.
It's the same variation of this. Different variations of the same story. It's a different drug or a different.
And the direction and all that as well. All that stuff that Sean was saying about when you see them injecting, and then it shows them going into their cells and all that. Like, it's the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah.
And is that because addiction is just the same stuff?
I totally get that. That's the point I'm trying to make. And it has to be given some sort of like credit for the way it's made and stuff like that. But it does lack, like you're saying, Daniel, that like there's no funny bits in it at all. There's no joy really, and that life obviously probably is like that. But
I don't know. You feel like even the darkest junkie and the darkest day of their life would be able to have a laugh about something. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
There's only a couple of bits where they're sitting like and they're high as fuck, and there's the bit where they think they've stolen the policeman's gun. At really bad start. That's kind of mildly like humorous, but apart from that,
I didn't actually know it was good. See, at that point, I thought the rest of the film was going to be a bit more like that.
I see at the end, I thought it was all going to be a dream, because see the way that they start kind of making shit tons of money, and then when it all falls apart, it's far too quick that happens. I thought it was just all going to be in their heads.
And I think that's why I felt like the rest of the story was a wee bit underdeveloped compared to the sort of main bit that we enjoyed with the game show. Like you said, they suddenly found a scheme that could make them loads of money. Then they had no money, and then they were doing.
By cutting up heroin, basically. Because no drug dealers ever thought of doing that. Like,
I know. And then suddenly he had to go all the way to Miami, and he had to get his arm chopped off. It didn't make any sense.
It went from stealing his mom's telly to being like a drug kingpin in like an hour. Like, it just, I thought it was going to be a dream, and there was bits of it that were like kind of figments of their imagination, but obviously that wasn't it.
I definitely thought like more of it was going to be like that. After that scene where they were just imagining it, I was thinking, a lot of this, they're going to think these amazing things are happening, but they're just in a fucking Zoom, fucking shooting up. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. It's quite. I'm glad we did this for the podcast, because
I thought it was going to be shat on a lot more.
Same. Now that we're actually
Sean and Bunzy, it just doesn't seem like their type of movie at all.
No, it's not. It's like I didn't enjoy it, but it's not like as bad as some of the shit that especially Kel's picked. So this is probably just
but it's not a movie designed for you to enjoy in the enjoyment entertainment side of it. It's more for me, this was like very well acted. The storyline was quite interesting. The characters were interesting. So I get sucked into that hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it was, without having to. But you come away from it feeling like almost deflated, because you now have to do something else to pick yourself back up for the day. Because I watched this during the day at like 1 o'clock, and I had the rest of the evening fucking thinking about it. It was just a dark film. Do you know what I mean? And then the bit that I suppose the movie interested me the most was Jennifer Connelly's character goes from someone who they suggest is from a wealthy background and an educated background, in her family, and she's with the bad boy and the drug dealer, and she ends up getting caught up in it all. And it's just interesting that he dragged her into that world with him.
But then that's the same, the touch on the similar storyline in Traffic as well, where it's like for Michael Douglas's daughter gets fucking rolled into that as well.
I think that's a classic story of like the girl from the upper class family gets anybody can get sucked in by drugs. Do you mean even if you are like a rich posh or whatever? It always seems to be the message, but it's a bit done. It's been done to death a wee bit, that whole posh, well-to-do girl.
And I think just on that though, the extension to it is the scene where when they're in the apartment and he tells her what she's got to go do to make some money. And she then goes and does it, and you can see that obviously there's a concern in her that why am I doing this sort of thing? But the drug addictions takes that takes precedent. That takes like leadership over what she has to do to get that money, and it's just that part's super dark. That he's pimping her out, she's pimping herself out. The guy that she goes to knows exactly what he's there for and why he's there, and he's the seediest, creepiest guy as well, which just intensifies the whole scene. Because he knows exactly what he's doing, she knows what she's doing, and we as a viewer have to watch that and try to understand that ultimately that's just so she can get high again for another night.
Yeah.
And that's the part at which the repetitiveness and the scariness in it. And
like you say, there's a bit where after she goes and sees that guy at the end of have I lost you?
No. Still here? We've lost him.
No, your cameras went off, so I wasn't sure if I'd lost connection. I was going to say there was a bit where obviously she goes to see the guy, and then at the end, he was like, "Oh, you free on or whatever day or something?" She's like, "Oh no, I'm busy," and he's like, "No, you'll be back." And obviously, a wee couple of scenes later, that's where she is exactly back with all the groups, all the guys and the other women and all that stuff. So,
and that's what like
shows the darker place you can get to, I guess.
Not to go down a dark discussion, but like knowing people that have suffered from addiction and junkies and stuff, they will do anything to get that extra little bit of money.
Is that how you call your blowjob scale?
Exactly. That's where I receive them, yeah. No. I'm going to say that. I was going to say that double dark there. I'll leave that. But like...
It must have been bad with some of the stuff that's been said.
Yeah. I'd have to edit that one out. But like, to give an example, like I've had family members that would come into the home I grew up in and would steal right in front of you and run out the house and stuff because they had addiction and they did it to get a quick fix of money, and then they'd be back a few days later being your best pal again to then steal something right from under you again. And it's like quite dark and twisted to watch how the mind works because they've got no concept of anything else around them. And that's what I felt watching this when you're watching Jennifer Connelly's character. More specifically, her, I think the Jared Leto one when he takes the TV, that was overdone quite quickly, but the Jennifer Connelly one just takes a while for her to get to that point where she's doing really dark stuff to get that money to do the drugs that they want you to do. And it's I'll give my apologies for having us all watch a really dark film, but I did think it would be an interesting discussion, especially if you hadn't seen it.
I don't think there's been far worse for things that we've watched. Like,
definitely. Like I think my only issues with it are you keep mentioning the good acting. I felt like Jennifer Connelly and Jared Leto were pretty poor from an acting point of view.
I didn't look as
for me,
outstanding.
I felt like I didn't have a lot of investment in that side of the story as well. So
no.
I was kind of like that. Their performances were maybe kind of a bit lost to me. I think with Jared Leto
already together at the start as well. You know what I mean? Like they were already together. It was like it's not like anything's changed. Like already kind of doing shit as well. It wasn't.
Was there no something with Jared Leto's accent? Was it no like trying to make it like Italian American, like kind of New Yorker style anyway? Like it sounded a bit off for me from what I expected as well.
He seemed a wee bit off in general for me. I just think he's pretty wooden as an actor. He doesn't really portray much for me. We keep calling her the Moss, so I'm apologising. We gave her name earlier on, but the best bit for me was when her full addiction cycle had gone all the way full circle, and like Sean said, she went into the actual TV studio and that. And see when they took her in and she'd just been, they were trying to scare all the questions and suddenly like signed the piece of paper and she basically signed her fucking mental well-being away and all that.
Yeah.
That's like the worst fear. It's like the idea of like being in a mental hospital and going like, I'm no mental. And everyone like, aye, shoot, sort of thing. And you're sort of stuck there forever and there's nothing you can do about it. The more, that's my fucking worst fear. And that was the bit that hit home most to me about this film, was her being stuck in that fucking mental hospital, getting a fucking, she got shock treatment and all that essentially and turned into a fucking zombie.
I mean,
like,
what you probably say that she probably suffered the most out of all of them. All the consequences coming in, she's probably suffered the most.
Well, I suppose losing your arm is pretty bad, like.
Aye, but losing an arm you can recover from. There's treatments out there, but to be basically of non-sound mind or whatever, and then still consigned to this, basically, not quite a padded cell, but being aware, but not able to do anything essentially because your mind no longer works the way that it used to.
Oh, it gives me the fear.
Alright.
Well, I think we should just clarify her name is Ellen Burstyn. She was unsurprisingly nominated for an Oscar for this movie.
Brilliant.
Richly deserved.
She lost out to Julia Roberts for Erin Brockovich.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like I would just say I enjoyed the acting side of it, but the thing is, Ellen Burstyn's character, she was just leaps and bounds in front of everything else on it that made it so much more interesting to watch her.
I think
she's what I think I looked at her after the movie, and then I think she's won like there's like a sort of a triple crown type thing in acting where you win like an Oscar, a Tony Award, which is for on stage, and something else.
An Emmy.
An Emmy for TV.
Is that what it is? I can't remember. Basically, she's one of the few folk that's done that.
Nice.
I think what I would say with her performance as well, a lot of her scenes were solo as well, so you were totally drawn in with her performance when she was on screen.
And again, I mentioned it earlier, it's quite a jarring thing to have like an older like female actress and like a kind of modern, hard hitting. Like it's really a real risk to take that, you know what I mean, and to make that role and do it well, you know what I mean. It was just amazing.
Oh, she's in The Exorcist. I didn't realise that.
Ah, cool.
Is she the mum?
Yeah, I've not clicked that far into it, but I would assume so.
But
yeah, does anyone have anything more they want to say on this? I don't really think there's much more we can add to the thoughts on Requiem for a Dream.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs. Don't do speed just to get skinny.
No, the speed diet. I was all the age when I was at school. The speed diet. I can see it worked wonders.
Speed diet was all the age when I was at school. Amazing.
Let's move on to some trivia.
And speed and class A drug diet is scam.
Let's move on to some trivia, Hunter, about the speed diet.
Yes. So, Darren Aronofsky, the director, he shot the film like a hip-hop montage, a sequence of extremely short shots to get the sense of overwhelming addiction and loss of control, like we've discussed. So the average 100-minute film would contain 600 to 700 cuts. This one contains over 2,000, so it's a fair fucking jump. So the directors also asked Jared Leto and Marlon Wayans to avoid sex and sugar for a period of 30 days in order to better understand an overwhelming craving. And shout out to all my brothers doing No Nut November. My thoughts are with you.
Oh, I tell you what, 30 days is a long time to go without sugar.
Oh, definitely.
Did he mean that they were to avoid sex with each other? Or
I don't know. It's just like Diet Coke afterwards as well. Jared Leto lost 25 pounds and befriended real heroin addicts from Brooklyn to prepare for his role. I wonder if he still keeps in contact with them.
What a wanker.
Okay. I hate him, man.
I saw a thing about him. Did they know climb the Empire State Building or something this week to promote
I like to
album?
see the headline for that earlier to promote his band having a new album. But like, I don't get the the dot joining of that fucking stunt there.
There isn't any. He's just a wank.
If he jumped off it, that would maybe it would say.
Nice.
Jared let go of the Empire State Building. The
30
film was
seconds to the
listed
floor.
as the 40th best edited film of all time in a 2012 survey by members of the Motion Picture Editors Guild. So that the MPEG are still fucking going strong and they know that was a thing. And in each character's last scene, they turn onto their right side and pull their knees up to their stomach, assuming the fetal position.
Interesting.
I know that.
Yeah.
I was going to say you're hanging about the best edit, and surely this movie by default is the best edited film ever because it had so many short things to put in a movie. Like, what did you say that was 40th? That's like an insult to the guy that did all the effort.
It's like kind of like saying like it's like a perception like guys who can play like these mad monster heavy riffs on the guitar. I'm a better guitar player than some. Like it's all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Opinions.
There's a guy that's called like Steve Vai, and he's like I think he's like known as like the fastest guitar player, but it's just not. He's not like Eric Clapton or like Mark Knopfler or something like that. There's no melody, there's no like feel or anything like that. It's just like it's like that's not impressive. It's
the same like having all these cuts in a film doesn't necessarily.
It's just like taking drugs or something like that. It's no enjoyable.
No. Well, I just googled quickly to see if I could get the number one. I put the best edited film of all time. It came up number 1, Raging Bull.
What? Just
number
names
2, Citizen Kane.
It just shows you that we know.
Citizen Kane, though. Citizen Kane is a unique movie. You know what I mean?
Raging
Bull is just a.
Time, that was ahead of its time when it was released. So
exactly. I mean, Raging Bull's just like a black and white, like boxing movie, and it has got a lot of sort of the violence and the boxing scenes is really like cool and stuff. But it's I don't know, best editing. Nonsense.
Any more, Hunter?
No, that's me to head out.
That's you. Well, let's get to the scoring of this, and then we can announce the movies that we're going to be watching for the next season of Seen and Unseen. It was my movie, so I will go first for this one. I enjoyed it, so I'll give it a solid 4. Just try to read the facial expressions.
No, if you picked it, I would have thought that you had some sort of level of enjoyment of it previously.
I like I said, it was just sometimes when I come to this picking a scene movie, I'm like, do I want to watch one that I remember not sure if I liked it or not, and there's like it's got a last minute rather than just picking my favourite films that I'm going to come in here and give a 5. Just might as well go for something different. Sean, what did you think?
I think I'm going to go straight down the middle for you and give it a 1.75. Nah, it's totally. It's no market. It's no for me at all. I didn't really enjoy it. There was only one aspect I enjoyed, and that was I can't remember her name now. Sarah.
The end credits.
Character's name.
I was thinking the double-ended scene.
No.
Hand slide.
I didn't enjoy that.
Keep talking. Hunter.
2.25 for me, just like below average. Again, a lot of it, as I said, parts of this film were a bit underwhelming for me, and there wasn't enough. Like cutting for cutting's sake, just probably, ironically, probably what they were doing with that heroin as well, just cutting for cutting's sake.
Fuck's sake. Daniel?
Yeah, I'm going to 3.5 with this one.
3.5. Burnsy?
I'm joining Sean and 1.75 in the middle.
In the middle. Dubs?
I'll go straight down the middle to 3 out of 5.
A 3 out of 5. Straight down the middle, guys. Burnsy, what score does that give to the overall straight down the middle?
I'll need to add them up.
That would be a good start, aye.
You've got one job.
That's 2.71, which is
straight
exactly one below last week's score.
Back to the Future.
2.71 is just below Memento, Midsummer, The Shape of Water, and just above A Quiet Place and What We Do in the Shadows.
That sounds very familiar.
It does, eh?
Just
We need to mix up the scoring it.
cut and paste that.
I feel like ever since Dubs has joined, everything ends up 2.71. That's the fucking number, eh?
The Shape of Water. I feel like that's there or thereabouts.
Yeah, the Shape of Water. That's definitely a difficult wank, that one, to be fair. But
not the worst, though.
Not the worst. We've definitely had more difficult wanks than that. Like
the Double Ender. That was dark.
It was dark, man. What was it? Like a fucking... It looked like a fucking banister off a fucking staircase.
Yeah, it wasn't a dildo, was it?
It wasn't a dildo, no. It was like a big wooden pole.
It was just a rolling pin.
Like a cutting pole where you got like
shiny and black.
A cutting pole that's got like the flower heads on either side of the cutting pole. That's what.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Like a bedpost or something like that.
It was like, see if you go to a really shitty Italian restaurant and say, "Do you want pepper?" and they come out with a big giant like one of them.
Safe when.
Big black pepper and things that can happen.
I know the kids are standing in a circle and they're going, come, 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 come.
I'm wondering how long do I let this go on for before I start announcing next season's movies.
I mean, like, he's not keep changing them all the time.
It's alright, we'll be cancelled by then anyway now, so we're fine.
Oh,
I was trying to remember what we've got next.
Well, listen, let's
when I was done.
Put a close to this season, Requiem a Dream, and talking about big, massive salt and pepper dildos is the nice way for us to end this off. We have announced we've decided the next list of movies that we're going to be doing for Seen and Unseen. First up, we've got, it was The Northman, but we have changed it to Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Is that the one?
I think that's going to be even poorer received, even worse. I'm looking forward to that one. Like, definitely looking forward to folks' thoughts on that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, then after that, we've got Psycho, V for Vendetta, Don't Worry, Darling. Fucking hell.
I'm worried.
Jurassic Park, Reptile, Saw, Crazy Stupid Love. Apocalypse Now. We did have one, but Daniel's changed it to something about dads or something.
Yeah, old dads or whatever I'm changing it to. Because it was going to be The Whale. But I feel like I looked at the big list and I thought there needs to be something light-hearted in there. I'm putting a wee comedy in.
Old dads.
Old dads. It's got Bill Burr in it. I quite like Bill Burr, so.
It's just all the same people for the Requiem a Dream scene.
Aye, it's just guys.
And then the last two we'll be finishing off with are Ocean's 11 and Sicario. But thank you very much for listening. That does bring an end to this season. We will see you on the next one. As Morons do bid you farewell.
Just say when.
Say when.
Give me more.
Come, come, come.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun, you fucking moron.
Dressed up like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron. Hey, moron.
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons. Bye.